மத்திய நிதியமைச்சர் நிர்மலா சீதாராமன் CNN News 18 வழங்கும் டவுன் ஹால் கலந்துரையாடல் நிகழ்ச்சியில் பேசி வருகிறார். நேரலையில் பார்க்கலாம்.
You have money now. I can understand if there are states which don't have money and they've given a promise, they are not able to pay. உங்களுக்கு அந்த குறையே இல்லைங்களே, கடவுள் கிருபையில. நான் டிராவிடியன் மாடல் இருக்கும்போது நான் கடவுளுங்கிறேன், கட்டாயமா சொல்றேன். கடவுள் கிருபையில உங்களுக்கு நிறைய பணம் இருக்கு, கொடுங்க பில்ல. ஏன் ஒதுங்குறீங்க? You get it?
Yes, I did. Ma'am, oil prices are on a declining trend. Is there a Diwali bonanza on the offing for the consumers?
I'll have to actually talk to the oil marketing companies to understand where their recovery levels are. Because after all, there were times when they were even importing it at 120, 110, 118. I don't know what kind of losses they've made. I need to work it out with them.
The currency market has been badly affected by the constantly strengthening dollar. Indian currency, though, is holding on to its own, but there is a record low as far as today is concerned, and over the last few days of dollar against Indian rupees. What are the policy options that you're looking at?
Maria, this is a debate which is not going to go away. I know that. And I will, for the benefit of the audience, say how Indian rupee, because of the strength of our macroeconomic fundamentals, is holding out well, and the rate at which other currency vis-a-vis dollar has been, rate of fall of other currency vis-a-vis the dollar has been sharply much more than Indian rupee. So, is that a consolation? Partly yes, because the strength of your economy speaks when you're talking about your exchange rate. And as a result, we are far better than many other countries whose currencies have fallen pathetically against the US dollar. Now, what is our strategy? The interventions, if at all, which RBI makes using the Indian Reserve, which I think nearly 75 billion has been used, essentially to stop the fluctuations, the severe volatilities. RBI is not aiming at fixing the rate, exchange rate. The government doesn't believe in it. Indian rupee and its exchange rates, rate is also left to the markets to decide how it's going to float or get fixated at some level. So RBI's intervention is more to avoid the fluctuation. The US Fed's action has an impact on all currencies. So we'll have to only be sure that the fluctuation is not going to be severe. On the one hand, some people do also speak that, you know, a falling rupee also helps. Some people speak, I want that to be clearly understood, that a falling rupee helps in exports. Whether it does or it doesn't, theoretically it may, but in today's condition with the recession outside and demands not really being as adequately as it should be, even a fall in the rupee may or may not help our exports. We are all conscious of these basic facts. We'll have to keep watching.
Ma'am, before I open the floor for audience question, my last question to you. You have been a prominent face and you continue to be of your party, and then breaking the glass ceiling by being the first full-time defense minister, female defense minister, and then full-time finance minister. How do you see your own journey from Madurai to North Block?
If I were to be outside, I'll draw a lot of inspiration from it, because it's just not possible. And I would thank my party and the Prime Minister in particular for giving that kind of an opportunity and laying faith in the person. It's a divine blessing. Again, sitting in Tamil Nadu, I call the divine. ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு கடவுளின் கருணை கட்டாட்சம். என்ன மாதிரி எத்தனையோ பேர் தமிழ்நாட்டிலேருந்து படித்து நல்ல பெரிய பெரிய வேலைக்கெல்லாம் போயிருக்கிறாங்க. ஒரு அரசியல் பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்லாத குடும்பத்திலேருந்து வந்தால் கூட எனக்கு இவ்வளோ பெரிய வாய்ப்பை என் கட்சி கொடுத்ததுக்கும் பிரதமர் கொடுத்ததுக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப நன்றி கடன் பட்டேன்.
I'm going to open the floor now, ma'am, for the audience questions. Please go ahead, Purnima. You can raise your hand and ask a question to the finance minister.
Firstly, introduce yourself.
I'm Daksh from Dhobiji. We're a laundry aggregator program, and my question is, since day one, the government has been helping MSMEs and small businesses to support them. But there is one industry, that is the laundry industry, which hasn't seen such policies or something to support them, except the UP government offering a subsidy for laundries. So my question and only question is that, can we expect new policies or something for the laundry industry, which is, predicted to be a $15 billion industry soon?
No, have you excluded yourself? Because it gives me an impression that you've excluded yourself. We don't name sector by sector, except when there was a situation which arose during the pandemic, when the court wanted a committee be set up. Please sit down. Committee to be set up. Kamath committee was set up, and the committee named a few sectors, 20 of them I think, to say please do extend. But it also didn't name many others. So, but that didn't mean that the scheme was not going to be available for them. It was available for everybody. I don't know whether you're registered as a MSME or whatever. The registration of your company itself will tell you where and under which program you can benefit. But do send me your details. I'll ask my office to look at it.
Yes. Next question.
You can introduce yourself.
I'm Sridhar Narayanan, ma'am. I'm a professor and I'm into entrepreneurship now. And as MSME, I'm advising a lot of companies in startups as well. But it's a very basic question, but I'm trying to bring it to your notice. When we raise an invoice, it takes around, the payment from the company takes around 90 days for us to pay, but we have to pay the tax and everything in advance. So it's a big impediment for a startup like us. We have been taking up with other forums, but if this is addressed, it will be helpful for many in startups like us.
This is addressed by saying those companies who have to pay you will have to pay you in time.
But it's a challenge, ma'am.
For which the government has actually taken up a lot of steps. In fact, even my recent address to one industry group was that within 45 days they should clear the bills of MSMEs. I even highlighted to them saying, you claim that you owe so much when you file your accounts, and the registrar of companies also releases that. It's put in the website. Okay. So why is it that you don't mind putting it out rather than releasing the money to the MSMEs? I've asked this question. We are also bringing up with the TREDS and one more platform through which we are allowing discounting of the dues.
Okay.
And also saying that MSMEs can get their money that instant when they want. And whenever the companies do come to pay, they will. And as regards public sector enterprises, I've really been monitoring that their dues don't mount in relation to the MSMEs.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yes.
First of all, identify yourself. And then go ahead.
Sure.
Hi ma'am, this is Kavita here. I'm from TCS, and thank you so much for being with us today. And it's I think after quite some time you're with us, and it's nice gathering. And I see there is so much more of your visits here very soon. So as an individual, I would like to just get your thoughts on globally. I'm from cybersecurity platform, and from seeing the kind of threats that is evolving and spreading globally, I think you'd have heard a lot about US president have generated revenue for non-profit organizations also to strengthen their organizations by having the security controls. How do you see India from securing our environment rather than, I know we are coming up with a lot of regulatory policies and standards and all that, but how, what do you have in your mind from finance perspective, which is very critical in nature? What are your plans, ma'am, to protect our environment and our country?
In the financial sector, periodically there are reviews undertaken. Please sit down. Reviews undertaken as to how effective the firewalls that they have had are. So whenever I meet up with the regulators or with the banks or systemically important institutions, I do check that up with them, and you know that there's a cert in which actually looks at these cybersecurity matters. They are very active in engaging with individual companies which are public sector companies, but also spreading the knowledge of how to handle it and bringing them together so that they can benefit from one another's learning. It's a continuous challenge. It's not as if we can address it in one sitting. It's also a challenge because you have to continuously update your systems. So it involves money, it involves technology, it involves good skilled manpower and sharing of thoughts. So there's just a lot of work, but it has to keep happening.
So we have with us BJP Councillor Umanandi.
My question, once again, congratulations, Mrs. Sitharaman, you have risen to the occasion. My question is to Ms. Maria and the entire CNN News 18 team. My question is to them. We saw, yes, it is for the entire team. We saw how Mrs. Sitharaman handled the press. Why was Mr. M.K. Stalin handled with kid gloves? Why was so much of drooling? And why was this interaction not allowed when he was there? We had so many questions to ask. Why? Because we people are articulate, we face the questions, we don't run away. When questions were raised in the parliament too, Mrs. Sitharaman was there to give the answer, but we saw how the same, perhaps that is a Dravidian model. I think the Dravidian model should have been questioned here by many of us. Perhaps you didn't want to shatter the myth in Tamil Nadu. Why are you people shying away from questioning the Dravidian model?
Hello ma'am, I am Gayatri Srinivas. You have always been an inspiring woman for all of us. இந்த கேள்வி வந்து நான் உங்ககிட்ட தமிழில் தான் கேட்கணும். கேள்வி இல்லை, இது வந்து ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன். நாங்கள் வந்து தமிழ் மொழி கூடம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு நிறுவனம் கடந்த 10 வருடங்களாக நடத்தி கொண்டு வருகிறோம். நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி இங்கே வந்து ஹிந்தி மட்டும்தான் படிக்கிறதுக்கு தடையாவோ இல்லை சான்ஸ்கிரிட் மட்டும்தான் படிக்கிறதுக்கு தடையாவோ இருந்தது அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் சொல்லியிருந்தீங்க. ஆனால் இங்கே நாங்கள் இந்த 10 வருட காலங்களாக எங்களோட அனுபவம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்கிற மக்கள் அவங்களுடைய பள்ளி பருவத்திலையும் கல்லூரி பருவத்திலையும் தமிழே படிக்காம தான் அவங்க வந்து ஒரு என்ன சொல்கிறது வேலைக்கு போகிற அளவுக்கு இந்த தமிழ்நாடு இருக்குது அப்படின்ற அந்த ஒரு விஷயத்தை நான் இங்கே சொல்லணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா இங்கே இருக்கிற ஹாலில் இருக்கிற எவ்வளோ பேரோட பசங்களுக்கோ இல்லை அவங்களுக்கோ எழுத படிக்க தமிழ் தெரியும் அப்படின்றது தெரியல. ஸோ அந்த ஒரு அவேர்னஸ் நம்ம மக்கள் எல்லாருமே தமிழ் படிக்கணும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக தான் அதை கொண்டு வந்தோம். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் ஃபார் யோர் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் மேம். தேங்க்யூ.
நல்ல முயற்சிமா. தமிழை வளர்க்கணும், தமிழை பேணி காக்கணும், தமிழை நல்ல தமிழை பேசணும்.
கண்டிப்பாக மேம். தேங்க்யூ.
CNN News 18 வழங்கும் டவுன் ஹால் நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்துரையாடலில் மத்திய நிதியமைச்சர் நிர்மலா சீதாராமன் பங்கேற்று பல்வேறு கேள்விகளுக்கு பதிலளித்து வருகிறார். விவரங்களை பின்னர் வரும் செய்திகளில் பார்க்கலாம். மற்ற செய்திகளை இடைவேளைக்கு பிறகு பார்க்கலாம்.